And we welcome you back to Talk of the Town for this Tuesday, May the 26th. I'm Gary Stevens. As always, we'd like to do housekeeping before we move forward. The segment we had last half hour with Lorraine Speed of Great Lakes Window Coverings on the north side, the monthly chat with her about not only the promotion, but also talking about, hey, they're making masks for what we need right now. If you missed the conversation, you can go to our website at WHTC.com in the podcast tab. You can listen or download at your convenience for free. Lorraine chatted with us over the phone. But as we continue on this Tuesday morning, our 10 o'clock hour is usually spent discussing the outdoors for the most part and what you don't want indoors, those little varmints. The Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen, can be able to answer that. She is with DeBruyn Seed, and she joins us from DeBruyn Seed, Washington and Elman, downtown Zeeland, in our Google Meet connection, and joins us now. Good morning, Jan.
Good morning.
And if you got a question for Jan, she'll be happy to take it between now and 11 o'clock. At 395-1450, 395-1450. Patty Vanderbilt will join us in about 15 minutes with what's new around Holland. And, of course, we'll have one more break after that. But other than that, the Master Gardener is all yours at 395-1450, 395-1450. No, don't be so scared, Jan, about, our callers taking over, because that way, you can break yourself from the lair and the, shall we say, the grip of one Mr. Butternut.
Yes.
Although right now he's more in the lounging phase of things. Yeah. His subjects are taking care of things. But if you got a question about your yard and garden, Jan will take it at 395-1450. Good morning. You're on the line with the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
Good morning, Jan. Good morning, Gary.
Morning.
I will ask you questions and I'll hang up, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I just started using Preen with feed. Preen, where they take the weeds out of your garden.
Yep.
With feed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know if I'm using it correctly. And also, I just put in my little tomato plants that have grown from seed, and they're about 6 inches high, and they're kind of straggly, but I put about 12 of them in, all separate. And I'm wondering do I pinch those back, or what do I do to take care of those?
Okay, hang on a second. I want to ask you, and Jen will want to find out, in terms of asking about the preen and using it correctly, what are you basically asking whether or not what things you should be looking for?
Yeah, well, what I did was I shook it into the cleaned up dirt, and then I kind of moved it around, and then it says to water it, and I kind of mixed it into the first top 2 inches of my soil, and then it said to water it. That's what the jar said, or whatever it is, the can. And so that's what I did. And then the next day, I planted the tomato plants in it. And it tells you exactly what on the product, what kind of vegetables you should preen first, and then what kind of vegetables you got to preen before you put them in, like seeds or something like that. So that was pretty well what I did.
Okay, so in other words, you want to know if she's doing it the right way?
She did it right, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And then
it's preen with food in it. So,
yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And then I need to know about the tomato plants, so I'll hang up.
All right, appreciate the call. Thank you very much.
Well, usually we try pinch them back while they, when you put them in another container before you put them in the ground. You can right now. I guess you really just want them to grow right now, so I don't think I'd really start pinching them back. I would cut off any suckers that you see developing, but I don't think I'd be pinching too many things back right now.
Yeah, those suckers. They're called suckers for a reason. Or shall we say multiple reasons. Good morning. You're on the line with the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
Yes, I'm calling to have a question answered for my sister.
Go ahead.
She's wanting to know what happened to the hummingbirds.
In what ways, in terms of what happened?
She hasn't seen any yet. I guess she assumes they should be around by now.
Question is, has she done anything in terms of trying to attract them?
I don't know. I'd have to ask her that question.
Yeah, they're
because-
all over my feeder right now. But I
Okay,
hang
I'll
my
let her know.
feeder
Oh,
in the same
yeah.
spot every year.
Okay, I'll let her know.
Yeah. And of course, there are certain feeders that DeBruyn does have that
Yes.
can help attract them.
Yes, you bet.
All right.
All right.
All right. Let's see if we can answer the question. Call us back next week and see if that helps.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot for the call. 395-1450. Good morning. You're on the line with the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
Okay. I am wondering the formula for geranium fertilizer. Is that ammonia and water, and what are the proportions?
I'm not sure on that one. I think I would stay away from that one. That's just going to be nitrogen.
Yeah.
So if you want a lot of green growth, you can use that. But I kind of want a lot of flowers on mine, so I would rather have a middle number with some phosphorus in it rather than just nitrogen.
Oh, okay. Okay, and
But it
then
will give you nice green growth, that's for sure.
yeah. Well, it seemed like it was a tablespoon of ammonia to, I don't know, was it a gallon of water maybe?
I just remember we washed the windows once and right in back of the plants with ammonia water, and I'll tell you, they were the greenest plants we've ever seen in our lives.
Yeah. Okay, and then
It
I
did
wondering,
just
when you
green.
fertilize plants, should you water them with plain water first and then give them fertilizer?
Yes, that's usually the way they go. Yes.
Okay. And also, I have a panicular hydrangea. Are pine needles a good mulch for them? Do they like acid soil?
Well, actually, pine needles aren't acid, and they don't make the soil acid. So,
Oh, no
but
kidding.
pine needles are a great mulch. They're fine.
Just a regular mulch.
Yep.
Oh,
Pine
I
needles
was
are good
told that
mulch. You
pine
got
needles
that.
I was told that pine needles made the soil acid.
No, things decompose to neutral.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
the call. 395-1450. Good morning. You're on the line with the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
Hi, Jan. My
Hello.
lilac bush refuses to give me any flowers. What am I doing wrong?
The lilac?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a matter of trimming, and sometimes you got to be really brutal with those and just kind of trim them right on down.
Okay,
Just
when
to
do I
give
do
them
that now? Can I do that now? It doesn't have any blossoms on it anyway.
No, it doesn't have any blossoms on it. So take some of the leaders that go all the way up, go take it all the way back down to the ground, and
Okay.
and really give it a good hard pruning.
Okay. I'll give it a try. Thanks,
Yep.
Jan.
Yeah, appreciate the call. 395-1450, 395-1450. Yeah, tough love.
Well, it's not good to have a lilac bush that doesn't bloom. It only blooms a couple of weeks a year, so you want that as beautiful as possible for those couple of weeks. So yes, make sure that it's fertilized and make sure those guys are pruned well to make them really look their best.
You can tell that we are into late May edition of the Yard and Garden Hour. The calls just keep on coming. Good morning. You're on the line with the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
Yes, I have a question about hostas. We have a number of different kinds, and one of the plants that's just come up, the leaves are already shriveled as it comes up. Can you give me any insight about that?
Wow, the leaves themselves are shriveled, and they aren't supposed to be shriveled.
That's correct.
Well, my guess is it somehow got hit by some sort of weed killer, and it didn't necessarily have to come from your lawn. It could have been a carryover from somebody else's lawn on the weed, but that's kind of what it sounds like.
Okay. So should I just let them grow and see what happens, or pull those shriveled ones out?
Cut out that portion and hope they regrow.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate the call. 395-1450, 395-1450. We have about 5 minutes or so of this segment, and then we'll have more of your calls with Jan following what's new around Holland. Let's talk about, well, sweet potatoes. We talked about the Popeye version last month, last week, the I am what I am thing, but the sweet potatoes are now in.
They will be in again they are all gone. So now they will be in again on Thursday, May 28th. If you want to reserve some, please call me at the store when I get off the air and tell me how many bundles you want, and I will set them aside for you when they come in, and I will give you a call when they come in, so you make sure to get them because they go fast.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
Like a supersonic speed they go. So,
and since I'm not a person that likes yams anyway, I'm not going to reserve any at the brine. So you got a couple extra. No. I'm not. My brother is the big yam fan, but not me. And he's on the other side of the state, so he can get his own. He can get his own yams. 395-1450, 395-1450. We'll talk about the award categories after the bottom of the hour break. We'll talk about the problem of the week, not girls gone bad, but we'll talk about that, the weed of the week, and the most a new category this time, the most malign animal of the week, and we'll talk about that again at the bottom of the hour. 395-1450, 395-1450. We talked about lawn care in the morning news garden party, so we won't go over that. You can go to our website at WHTC.com, check out the audio version of that, and you can find out some of the tips for lawn care. But we did not touch upon Morocco and the mole men, and this is the time to get the mole men out of your lawn.
Yes, get them out now. This is the time to put poison worms down there, put the traps out there. Before it gets so hot out, you don't want to be messing around out there on the lawn. Do it now, and before they have more babies. More babies means even more moles. So let's get them now before they really start to multiply even more.
Now, the question is, does these little mole baits, these poison worms, work for not only moles with an M, but voles with a V?
No, they don't work for voles with a V. You really need to put out a bait box or get some bait and put it down. They'll have little quarter-shaped holes in the landscape, and you can actually put the bait down in there, or get a bait box out, kind of put it in your landscaping, hide it under a bush somewhere, and they can go in and out and grab their little snack of poison and run out and die.
Yeah, we talked about, I just wanted to make sure we have, I'm talking about M and V.
And V.
Yeah, along those lines. And of course, speaking about innovative ways of getting rid of pests, we still have the grub, the issue about, I don't want to say grubs, but slugs. Yeah, get the beer out for the slugs.
You like that one, don't you?
I do, especially. Yeah, get the 3.2 beer. Get the cheap beer. They don't care. They're not.
Stale beer even works even better. So yes, after a party, collect all the beer cans, and yes.
Yeah, but make sure it's not too deep, because they don't like the deep water. Shallow water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Use a tuna fish can.
Yeah.
Tuna fish can. Fine. Yeah.
Yep. Just put a little bit of beer in there, and they'll go right in there, and they'll just be such happy slugs.
Happy slugs until, what's the line? What a way to go.
Don't they explode, Jan?
Pardon?
Don't they explode?
I've never seen them explode, but they do die from the they kind of bloat up, but they're not pleasant to look at.
No, they're not pleasant to look at anyway.
Yeah.
No, they aren't.
Well, Jan, enough time has passed. It's time to do what we normally do once a week, either during morning news or during the WHTC Talk of the Town program. Time now for our weekly awards category. And Jan, you got a new award category for the week, and we'll begin with that. The most maligned animal of the week. And it's time not only to play possum, to be nice to our friends, the possum.
Well, that's right. We've had people that want to chase them away, that want to trap them and kill them. They don't want to have them in their property, I guess, because they're not the most cute things in the world, but they do not carry rabies. They eat ticks. They'll take care of your snakes, plus your small little voles and shrews that are running around. So, and they are not going to be the ones that are going to be out in your lawn looking for grubs at night making a mess. So these are a good animal to have in your backyard. So they're welcome in my backyard anytime.
But the only problem is that sometimes they're kind of, dense. They don't move too quickly, and they can be roadkill pretty easily, unfortunately.
Yeah, playing possum usually isn't the best thing against a 2,000-pound car, but yeah, they're not probably the smartest things on the block, but they do a lot of good out there, so we want to keep them.
All right, the rodent of the week is actually Rocket J or Secret squirrels.
Well, I've always laughed at people with, their squirrel problems on their feeders. And, I've got, those squirrel proof feeders that work pretty well and make sure that they're away so the squirrels can't get at them. And I've had pretty good luck with that. So I haven't really had a problem with squirrels until I noticed walk around the house one day and there's this great big old fat gray squirrel eating my hostas. Now, I have been blaming this on the deer and the rabbits. I didn't know it was the squirrels. So my tulip problems, they were probably squirrels. They love everything in my front yard. So they have now been sprayed with the powerful liquid fence. It's got a picture of a squirrel on the front. Stinks to high heaven. But it seems to help. They have stayed away from my front yard now.
Now the question is it just the gray squirrels are bad, or all versions of squirrels, be it the black or be it the brown ones?
I'm not happy about any of them right now.
Okay, so we're not discriminating on color of squirrel. No. No racist squirrel situations here. No. Good morning. You're on the line with the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
Yeah, I've got a problem with carpenter bees, and I've gone through several cans of spray. They've got a big hole in the side of my gazebo. What else can I do? Do I need to call a pest control guy?
Well, I know they don't want you to cover up the hole because they have to have an exit hole. Otherwise, they'll exit in the middle of the building. You know what? If you've used several cans already, I guess the pest control is going to have to be the person to look into this now.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Have to do that.
Yeah, sorry about that one. They can do it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, they can do an awful lot of damage.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Sure do.
Yep. I appreciate. Thank you very much for the call. 395-1450, 395-1450. Let's continue with some of the issues we have. Not girls gone bad. It's tomato plants gone bad. That's the problem of the week.
Yeah, okay. You've scored your tomato plants. You're all excited about this. And you put them in the ground. You made sure that they got used to the air temperature outside, but what you forgot to do is get them used to the soil temperature outside, which is kind of hard. Soil temperature is still a little bit colder than the air. Of course, now after these couple of days, it's going to catch up quickly, but if you planted them before last weekend, you might notice that the tomato plants are looking a little sickly, might be turning yellow, might be kind of droopy. It's probably soil temperature. If they don't die before the soil warms up, they should be fine. They probably won't be the ones to get the first tomato or the ones that are going to be the most most efficient of the tomatoes, but they should make it out. But it's always best to make sure that the soil is warm enough for those little tropical plants, as in tomatoes.
395-1450 if you have a question for the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen. We're going over our awards category right now. She is, of course, at DeBruyn seat on Washington and Elm in downtown Zeeland. And our weed of the week is another winner, previous winner. It's something that maybe they like in Kentucky. We've mentioned this before, but not around here. The annual bluegrass.
Annual bluegrass. If you look out over your lawn right now, you might see it. It's that lighter colored grass that's got the little seed heads, white seed heads on the top. That's annual bluegrass. It looks like a grass, and it does actually, it will be a grass for you. You don't, if you want to keep it. Problem being is it does die out every year, but more will come back in. So if you want to get rid of it, there is something called tenacity that you can put on your lawn, and you're going to be good with this. This is usually not something the average person can use, but you can use it. It might turn your good grass white, but it definitely will turn the Poa Anna white, and hopefully you can get rid of it. If you don't want to be that drastic, crabgrass preventer, spring and late summer, early fall, every year for years, and you might finally get rid of it.
395-1450. Let's go back to a topic we touched a little bit about on morning news in terms of being preventative against insects and the fact that we're starting to see some insects moving around. This is a good time to be preventative and proactive against mosquitoes.
Yeah, all my neighbors were all gathered around in their lawn chairs because the person on the other side of the lake was doing a little fireworks show. And all I could think of is, in a couple of weeks, it's going to be nothing but mosquitoes back here, and we won't be able to do this. So, yes, be proactive. If you've got standing water, make sure you've got the BT dunks in the water so any mosquito eggs don't develop into more mosquitoes. That means you can put that in your bird bath, you can put that in a pond, you can put that anywhere. It's fine. You can drink that water. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt your birds. Second thing you have to do, you can spray down the backyard, but not only the backyard, the bushes, everything, spray everything. Something with bifenthrin in it would be perfect. Will last a couple of weeks. Or you can use the Spartan Mosquito Eliminator. I'm really excited about this one. Hang it up from a tree away from where you want to be. Mosquitoes will all go toward that, not towards you.
Yeah, and then they become eradicated. Well, maybe it should change the name from Spartan Mosquito Eliminator to Spartan Mosquito Eradicator. That'd be kind of nice. Good morning, on the line with the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
Good morning, Jan.
Good morning.
I am wondering when I may cut down my hyacinths. They're so green yet.
Do you see any buds on them or see any swellings on the end of it or not? You mean your hyacinth?
They've been long gone.
Yeah,
they already blossomed in April.
Yeah, and mine are just as green as the leaves are just as green as ever. Don't cut them down until they start turning yellow and dying back.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, gonna have to wait just a bit. Yep.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for the call. 395-1450, 395-1450. The product of the week is a little bit of a different. It's sort of a new product that's come out. It involves grape jelly.
I know, isn't that weird? It's an Oriole feeder that you just take, and you take a bottle of grape jelly, take off the top, screw this feeder on, and you can hang it up in a tree or wherever you want. It's got a place for the Orioles to perch on, and they can stick their head right down in the grape jelly and eat to their heart's content. It is the silliest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I thought, No one's ever going to buy it. And sometimes they buy it as a joke and they'll come back. I'm not kidding you. Everyone comes back and wants 2 or 3 more. So this is one of the fun feeders for and it's an easy feeder. You just have to screw it onto a jar of grape jelly.
Now two questions. One, has to be grape jelly, not grape preserves.
Well, you could have grape preserves.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I didn't know whether or not, there are some people, maybe the Orioles are as picky as some people are about, I don't want I want grape preserves, not grape jelly. I mean, so yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. The other thing, though, is, can the Orioles sort of dip all the way down to the bottom of the jar to get that?
They will clean out that jar. You bet.
Oh, okay. So in other words,
the fun is in watching them eat the jelly. That's the whole fun of it.
Now, are they connoisseurs? In other words, you got to get the good grape jelly and not the store brand grape jelly.
No, I use the cheapest jelly I can buy.
Okay, just like the slugs and the beer, you get the cheap beer for them. Get the cheap jelly, and it brings the Orioles around. And we're not talking about Trey Mancini or some of the men from Baltimore. We're talking about the actual birds themselves, and they are the bird of the week for Jan.
They are. Everybody is saying they're seeing them in their backyards, and they will stay around here for a while if they can find enough food. I think that they can find enough food to raise a little clutch of eggs. So keep out the oranges and the grape jelly and the mealworms and some water, and you should have Orioles for quite a while.
Now the question is, how much patience do you have to have, especially if you're in an area where there aren't any Orioles around right now?
You'd be surprised. They're out there. They are out there. They're just screaming at each other in my neighborhood yet. So
okay, I just didn't know whether or not, just because you might put on an Oriole feeder, but if there aren't any Orioles in the neighborhood, you're not, you might as well just be wasting your money and time.
Well, yeah, but they're out there yet. They are definitely out there yet. They are so much fun to watch. Great big old orange bird in your backyard. Can't miss them. And yeah.
Now, the other point, and we got a caller a little bit earlier in our program dealing with the hummingbirds. Where are the hummingbirds? Well, you gotta get the rotten fruit out to get the fruit flies. Make sure it's away from the house so the fruit flies don't come in. Yeah. And then because the fruit flies bring our friends, the hummingbirds.
Hummingbirds, yes. That you could use the rotting banana feeder. That works extremely well to bring out the hummingbirds, or you can bring out a nectar feeder. The thing is, if you've hung a feeder up for the hummingbirds in one spot year after year, don't all of a sudden switch it on it. Oh. Remember that brain is the size of the end of a. Yeah. So they're never gonna find it. So keep it up in the same spot.
People don't use the term bird brain as a slam for no reason at all. They say, that guy who takes care of Talk of the Town now, he's a bird brain. Yeah, well.
Well, I'll tell you, I moved mine over 12 inches. And when they first started coming in the spring, they're all coming to, 12 inches to this and you're just like, move over a little bit, but they didn't. So I had to move it back to where it was every other year.
Now the question is, can you have maybe the attraction for the fruit flies with the hummingbirds in the same area? Have the attractions for the Orioles? Can they play nice together, or do you need to sort of put them in separate corners and make sure that?
Yeah, you probably can. I get my hummingbirds usually first thing in the morning and then again in the evening, and my Orioles are there usually during the day. So I don't think that they'll overlap too much.
Okay, I was just wondering whether or not those birds are, play nice with each other sometimes. Fighting birds. And the little hummingbird, they're kind of small. They can be muscle out.
Very small. I was noticing there were hummingbirds by my feeder yesterday at the same time that there were finches at my finch feeder. And you always think the finches are small, 3-inch birds. until you see them next to a hummingbird. I mean,
They're
this
giants.
little teeny tiny thing. Yes.
Yes, Land of the Giants in color, the old
Yeah.
TV show. Yes, 395-1450. That's our awards category for this week, and of course, we'll have more awards next week. Probably we'll put it into WHTC Morning News as we have the garden party with the master gardener, Jan Meeuwsen. Jan, let's talk about some other things going on as we wrap up our program today. And we were talking about a little bit earlier about dealing with moles and voles and sort of pattening out and flattening out those runs. And that's, some people get their jollies out of it. There's a little mound. Boom, 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 boom. They stamp that down.
Well, it is kind of, it gives you a good feeling that you've done something, but yes, flatten out those runs. The things that come up in 24 hours, those are the ones that they're using the most often. So that's the runs to put the traps in. That's the runs to put the poison worms in. Biggest trick is, though, no sunlight can get back down in the ground. So you put a trap in, put a bucket over top of it so no sunlight can get down there. Otherwise, they'll do this little detour right around it. And the same thing with the poison worms. They'll do a detour right around it. So no sunlight down on it. So take a piece of, old brown paper bag or whatever and crumple it up and stick it in your hole so you can put some dirt on top of it so no sun will get down there.
The moles are not bird brained. They have a little bit more of an intelligence factor. Their IQ is a little bit higher. I'm noticing now, unfortunately, near the end of the month of May, some of the tulips, the stars of the show have now passed. When do you start worrying about dealing with cleaning up the tulips and making sure that you can sort of get these, something else that can grow there now that tulips are in the past tense?
Yeah, cut down the stem of the flowers, but wait until those leaves turn yellow before you start cutting those things down. Tulips shouldn't take that long, so don't worry about it. The hyacinths and the daffodils are the ones that take forever to turn yellow, but tulips usually turn yellow within a week or so. So don't worry, they'll turn yellow. You can cut it down, and then you can plant whatever you want.
And then to pull the bulbs out too.
You can pull the bulbs off if you didn't like them where they were, or if you're just sick of them, or if they've been in the ground more than 3 years. Usually tulips last about 3 years, and that's about as much life you're going to get out of them. And you might want to pull them out and start all over again in the fall.
Yeah, get some, fresh tulips from the home country. That's what they do in Holland, the city of Holland.
Right.
They every three, take a third out and put a third, all new ones in. So, and hopefully we'll have the tulip dig to help the Holland in Bloom effort this year. But we'll see if that's going to be the case
this year.
Oh, that's right.
Tulip dig.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. They'll have to find another way to raise some more funds for the Holland and Bloom effort. Jan, with that, we're going to button up this edition of the Yard and Garden Hour. Give her a call at DeBruyn Seed, Washington Elm, downtown Zeeland. She'll be back with us Saturday morning with the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show from 11 to 12, and Tuesday morning, a little after 8:35 with the garden party, and from 10 to 11 with the Yard and Garden Hour on Talk of the Town. Jan, thanks for joining us on our Zoom, our Google a chat today.
Yeah.
Or Google Host. I forgot what it is. But anyway, you take care, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Thank you very much. That is Jan Meeuwsen on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC. CBS News is next on the hour.